economics is a very scary thing. We are in a very tenuous time across the Western countries, not only in America, but Europe. And everybody's raising interest rates to try to curb inflation. But don't let that scare you. Don't let that scare you. 6% interest rates on mortgages is not something that can't be afforded. You will have to make certain cuts, I'm sure, and gas and food and tighten the belt a little bit, but it is so much better than renting, for sure.
Welcome to the Real Estate of Texas with the Gals of the Hill Country, brought to you by Solid Realty Group in Boerne, Texas at solidrealtygroup.com. And now your hosts, Jessica Johnson and Cali Red.
Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us on the Real Estate of Texas, presented by Solid Realty Group. I'm Cali Red, here with my business partner, Jessica Johnson.
Hi, everyone. Great to have you here as always. We are recording from Richter's Tavern here on Main Street in the beautiful city of Boerne, Texas, in the Hill Country.
Today, we're going to be talking about the topic that's on everybody's mind, rising interest rates. What does it mean for the real estate market? Is now the time to buy or sell, or is it better to wait? We've got a special guest today to help us dissect this topic, a local homegrown economist, Dr. Wes Jamison.
And then a little later in our show, as always, we have our Boerne Business Spotlight. And because we love to promote our incredible business owners and organizations that you can find here in Boerne, Texas, today's spotlight is Tootie Pie. Oh my God, I love them. Everyone in Boerne knows them too. And because today is Sweetest Day, they've come up with sweets for us and a sweet deal for you. So sit tight for that coming up soon.
That's right. So let's get started with the meat and potatoes of today's show, interest rates.
Fun. So let's introduce our listeners to our first guest. He's from the area, born in Bandera, but today he's coming to us from Snow College in Utah, where he's the chair of the Social Sciences Department. Welcome, Dr. Wes Jamison. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I'm very happy to be with you guys.
We are so happy to have you here. So I understand that you're a professor of economics, correct?
That's absolutely correct. I teach both economics and political science at Snow College.
Oh, how wonderful. Well, we are here in Boerne, Texas today, and we want to know a couple of things about where the economists see the housing market going with what we have going on right now. Will you help us out a little bit?
I will try. I will do my best.
Fantastic.
Well, I will say this, as any economist would say, economics is the dark arts. It allows you to kind of see the future, but only so far. I will say for home buyers, the outlook it's mixed, I would say. We know that interest rates, the Federal Reserve is going to continue to raise interest rates in order to stop this terrible, terrible inflation that we're all feeling. We all know that groceries are going up. We see gas going up. Everything else is going up. And so in order to stop that, they're raising the federal funds rate. That federal funds rate affects every interest rate across the board, including mortgage rates. Thankfully, home owners and people that are selling houses are trying to unload their stock. And so you're seeing some prices go down, which is good. But with rising interest rates, the average monthly mortgage cost is pretty much staying the same, if not rising. So that is unfortunate for most people.
No, that really is. But for people that want to buy with the increase in interest rates, what are they looking at taking hits to their pocketbook?
So if you were to say want to purchase a $250,000 home,
mm-hmm.
6 months ago, if you had perfect credit, your monthly rate would be around $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
Now that interest rates have climbed to where they are right now, and the average mortgage interest rate is right around 6 to 7% right now, you're probably looking at paying $1,600 a month for the same price of house. So there are a couple of bright spots in this. People that are selling houses see that they want to get out before interest rates climb even higher. And the Fed is definitely trying to raise interest rates even higher. So they may be lowering that price, and it gives the buyer a lot of negotiating power in order to lower the price even more, to structure their deal a little better for them. So there's still some wiggle room in the market right now.
So would you have any suggestions to people that are getting into the housing market with the higher interest rates on ways to kind of leverage the new expense that they have with the long-term investment of actually owning a home, right? That's kind of like a savings account. So how do they leverage that?
Don't settle. Number one,
Okay.
know where you want to be, and the great thing is a place like Boerne and the Hill Country is a great place to live for years to come. And so you have to know that this investment that you're making will only gain money. Housing prices have only gone up in value for the last 1,000 years. So it is a great investment, and know that prices may go down in the future, but they're only going to go up in the long term. Thus, you want to try to leverage as much power as you can. Try to find buyers or sellers that are trying to get out of the market right now, and use that power to your advantage. I think there is a lot of value still in the market right now. And I think that buyers, while they might not be in the best place right now, it's not the worst time. This is not the 70s. We are still at 6% interest rate and not 18. But who knows what the future might bring. So we are probably no longer going to see 2% interest rates in our future, at least in the near term. So if you can get in at 6 or 7, it's probably a good time to do it.
I know it seems like it's such a scary number for people, but they don't realize that historically that we're still essentially at a very low interest rate overall. I mean, you've seen, like you said, 18%. Double digits are hard. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So for sellers that have houses right now at lower interest rates that want to sell, that they have to move, right? They get a new job and they have to go to a different state and they're forced to sell their home. What do you think, like financially, is their best bet? Do they take all of the money that they make off of their house and they put it as a down payment for their next house, or should they keep those funds in their pocketbook to help with inflation and things like groceries and phones and other stuff? Well, what do you think on that?
So if you're a seller right now, the market is interesting because different pockets of the United States are selling at incredibly different rates. Right now, my fiance lives in Austin, and Austin housing is absolutely insane. But there are still amazing places out in the Hill Country that you can get for a really decent price. Most likely, people think that there's nothing out there. They don't realize how beautiful it is and how in the long term, that is going to be an incredible investment. The thing is, if you are a seller, the price to maintain the house, or if you're not quite done building a house, those prices are increasing so rapidly. The price of building materials is going up crazy high, usually due to supply chain issues. We have issues across the pond, as you might know, and trying to get out of their house as quickly as possible is a benefit to buyers as well. So I think trying to get out as quickly as possible is what most people are trying to do, which could be a boon for those trying to buy a house right now.
I guess it's such an odd position to be in, because if you don't have the funds to purchase a house because the interest rates are so high, you're stuck in a rental. And the rentals, that is essentially just, the money that you're giving away every single month. And I understand that it's hard, but we're at that like tipping point kind of where it becomes less expensive for people to rent homes. And so they have this like kind of ideology that, well, I can't afford that extra $300 a month, so I'm just going to rent, or into a position that they're like, no, I must have a house in this area. And like you said, they fail to look in almost, a rural area and where their dollar would go a lot further, but it would take them a longer drive into their job, essentially, to go from the urban area into the rural area. But economic point of view, do you see that as being beneficial, or is that also increasing costs for people because now they have to drive further and they have to sit in traffic longer, right? Like what are the pros and cons of that as well? Like I understand it's a great idea, man. If I could go and buy some property and, drive further out, I think I'd do that. I'm completely on board with you. But again, if we're stretching our dollar and that's something that you have to take into consideration, how do people counter that?
Renting, I think renting about 20 years ago was a great option for people because rents were so low. But, in the last 2 years since the pandemic, rents have increased dramatically.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that for nearly the same price that they can rent a house, if they take the leap and just jump in, and you really wish they would have jumped in a year ago, but even today, at interest rates, mortgage rates at 6.5%, 7%, it will only cost them 200, maybe 300 more to buy a house rather than rent a house. And I really hope that Americans, especially Texans, make the move to home ownership rather than giving their money away each month. For those with rental homes, again, it is an absolute windfall for them because as rents go up across the nation, they now have leverage to say, well, look, this is what rents are. This is average rent across the nation. I'm now charging you this. And for some reason, Texans, Americans, they feel like they don't have a chance. They have to pay this rent. But just a little bit of savings can go a long way towards purchasing your first house. I think there's lots of programs for first home buyers. And I think the government's also willing to help Americans get into housing, to buy a house rather than rent. So yes, I think the economic benefits of owning the long-term investment is huge, gigantic compared to renting. I really do hope that many, many, many more Texans decide to own rather than rent in the near future. The economic pros completely outweigh the costs.
You had mentioned different government programs. Is there a plan for new buyer incentive programs to be released or to come out that can help new home buyers? Is that what you're hearing?
So, we do have elections coming up, and politicians across America know that this is a real problem. Housing is a problem. The real issue that I see across the real estate market across America is, of course, housing stocks. The stock of new homes is at our lowest that we've seen in years. Ever since 2008, home buyers or home builders just have not been building the amount of homes that we need. But we are seeing across America, and politicians are trying to make this happen, that we encourage and incentivize home building. And in my area here in Utah, we are seeing lots of apartments being built, a lot of low-income housing being built, and most of that will be built by big corporations looking to rent. But that kind of housing can be devastating to people because it is just renting. Again, if I can encourage home buying in any way, I would do that for anybody. The long-term investment will set your family up for a very, very long time.
I'm curious about one of the things that somebody talked about was like smaller homes. Is that something that like new home builders have been talking about, making smaller homes, making like little creations of where people don't have to have these monstrosities of homes, but they have something that's very small and livable and usable, but it's also very cost effective?
Absolutely, 100%. When I first got my job here at Snow College, we bought a tiny house for $100,000. It's 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and it's just me and my fiance. However, now this house is valued at $300,000. And it's amazing to see how home values just increase. So we are seeing across the market right now lots and lots of small family homes, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. And we're seeing that also in the Hill Country, looking at some of the listings last night in Boerne. There's lots and lots of 2 bedroom, 2 bath homes for sale. The really scary thing, I think, for at least my students and any young person wanting to enter the market is a lot of those homes are priced at $350,000, whereas it used to be $100,000.
So with the rising interest rates, their buying capacity has definitely gone down, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think a good thing for people to keep in mind is that your first house may not be your dream house, but it's still most likely to increase in value. Like you said, yours, you purchased at 100, now it's worth 3. So that's probably not where you and your wife or fiance thought you were going to live forever. Your buying capacity was what it was, and then you selected based on the capacity. But it's still a great investment that's been beneficial to you and will be beneficial
100%.
to
you. We have done nothing but gain from this purchase, and we will take the profits and move into hopefully our dream house very soon. Even if we need to take another step to a house that maybe not be our dream house, building wealth over time through home ownership is certainly is the key to any success that I try to preach to my students every day. Home ownership is still the American dream.
So a lot of jobs nowadays don't have that longevity that a lot of people used to speak of. 20 years ago, you used to work 25 years. You would retire. You'd have a pension. It'd be great. You'd stay in the same small town, kind of do that stuff. But from what I understand, I'm not a millennial. I missed that by a year and a half, so I don't get to call myself that. But anyway, a lot of the millennials and the new generations, their job time frames are very short, 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 if you get really lucky, because they don't have that connectivity with their job, and a lot of it is mobile. So I think you have a lot of pushback on some of the younger generations that are like, I don't want to buy a house because I'm not sure that I'm going to be there. And so I know that there is your capital gains if you have the house less than 2 years, but a majority of people, if you do work 2 years in a job, what's your recommendation about getting a house then?
It is interesting because over the last 2 years, we have seen houses coming off the market quicker than ever.
Mm-hmm.
You put your house on the market and 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's gone. We are now starting to see longer and longer wait periods. We're seeing 2 months, 3 months, and we're seeing sellers get nervous that their house is not going to sell.
Right, but 90 days, right, is a balanced market. 3 months for your house on the market is not. It's balanced.
Sure, but the fear is that when you start seeing it goes from 2 weeks to that 90 days, they're starting to worry.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see people jumping off waiting lists for homes. My advice is buy. You have to buy.
It's the best way to build generational wealth.
100%. It will build your family. It will build the wealth inside your family. It is the American dream. And without home ownership anymore, I don't see another way unless you hit the lottery to actually build the wealth that you want your family to have.
So then what's your recommendation about buying like land versus home?
So in some places, again, like the Hill Country, you still see a lot of land available for relatively lower prices. I was looking at land lots for around $250,000 yesterday. But it all depends on location. Again, where we also have a place in Austin. Austin is absolutely insane right now when it comes to the land and the home buying process there, which is why I would suggest, I told my students here in Utah, land is still relatively cheap, and it's okay. You need to look outside maybe your comfort zone to buy a place where you can build your future.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share or let us know or recommendate? Recommendate, that's a terrible word. I don't know. It's too early for me. I need more coffee.
Don't we all?
All right. As an economist, what do you want to tell us? What's the last thing you got for us?
I would say this. I know times are scary right now, and if you even glance at the headlines, any economic news, it may scare you. Keep a positive outlook. Focus on the future. Inflation will go down eventually. Your groceries will go down eventually. Other generations have been through this. We will get through this. And don't give up on your future. Home buying and saving are your best ways to build generational wealth.
All right. Well, we're happy to help you buy, right?
There you have it.
There you go. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Wes. We so appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your information. It's nice to get a different perspective, and I agree with you. Still.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us all the way from Utah.
Warm up there.
Yes.
But it's colder than here.
It's going to get cold very soon.
The real estate of Texas is always changing. Get a solid start to buying or selling a house with Solid Realty Group. Hey y'all, I'm Jessica Johnson, co-owner of Solid Realty Group, Boerne's 5-star realtors, where we have saved our clients over $3 million. Given today's rising home values and interest rates, every penny counts. Call Solid Realty Group to buy or sell, and we can help you save more and stress less. Call us at 210-827-3733, solidrealtygroup.com. Welcome back to the Real Estate of Texas, and we are super excited to have Brian and Jamie Demski with Tootie Pie here with us today for our Boerne Business Spotlight. Welcome, y'all. How are you doing today?
We're good, and we're excited to be here.
Absolutely. This should be fun.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about Tootie Pie.
Okay, well, Tootie Pie originated from Medina, Texas, from Miss Tootie herself. She started baking pies when she was 65 after her husband passed away. And she became famous for her 6-pound apple pie that everybody loved. It won many accolades. And then it moved to Boerne.
6-pound pie? Wait a second. Holy mackerel.
Yes, that is correct. We actually put 3 pounds of apples in every single pie. So it is Texas size, Texas taste.
Oh, it's delicious. Fantastic. Yes. Okay, so she built the pies. She came here to Boerne.
Yes, when she came here to Boerne, she set up a store down in Industrial, which many Boerneites know.
Mm-hmm.
And several years later, we had to move to Dripping Springs for the main facility for purposes of shipping. We actually save our customers money by shipping out of Boerne because we send our pies across the entire U.S. That's how big Tootie has become. When that happened, my wife and I, Jamie, we decided that we want to continue the tradition of Tootie Pie here in Boerne, and we're given the opportunity to open up the very first franchise store.
Fantastic. Yay. Okay.
And that's kind of the story of Tootie, and we hope to expand further. And just so everybody knows, we are bringing baking back to Boerne because everything was getting baked in Dripping Springs, but I'm buying an oven next year, and we are going to start baking all our pies again. And
in store.
Ooh, yep.
And
the wonderful thing is I learned from Miss Tootie's daughter, so I know the recipes inside and out, so you are going to get the perfect Tootie pies.
Is that going to be right there at the same location that you're at now?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
We're
good.
going to do a remodel.
So there's enough space in there.
Yes, there is enough space. We're going to have to close down for a couple of weeks as we remodel to get the oven in, but we've been talking about this for about 6 months now on a way to bring the tradition of Tootie Pie back to Boerne.
I mean, we do bake in store too. Right now, we bake our newest creation that Brian made called the empanadas. They're delicious.
Oh, I know. You brought us some this morning.
Yes, those are baked fresh in the store.
Yes, those are baked fresh daily. I'm proud of those. Those are mostly my recipe, and they've been selling like hotcakes. If you haven't had one, you need to come get one. They're absolutely delicious.
People that don't know exactly where you guys are located, what is your address?
1445 South Main Street here in Boerne, Texas. We are right at the corner of Hearth and Main.
Okay.
So do people order online? Do they call you to place an order? What are the ways that they can go about ordering?
They can come into the store or they can call us. We recommend that you order early for the holiday season.
Yes, I think I've ordered a pie from you guys since I've been here from 1998. We've had a Thanksgiving pie from you guys. That's just how incredibly wonderful you all are.
We love to create the memories with you guys.
You do, and you guys are great community supporters. You guys are wonderful. We see you around quite a bit, so it's really nice to have you guys in our community, supporting our community and being part of our community and keeping Tootie Pie here. I mean, that's a staple for so many of us who have lived in Boerne for so long that just love what you guys do. So I'm really, really happy to have you guys on the show and let more people know how absolutely fantastic you guys are. So for the holidays, what's your current up and coming one? Do you have a Halloween one?
We don't really do much for Halloween. We did try doing
Nothing
spooky.
with candy corn? No, is it candy corn?
Candy corn is loved or hate.
I don't know how good that would be in a pie, y'all.
I don't know.
Maybe a cupcake.
Maybe a cupcake. That would be cute.
Yes, we have a great decorator. We'll have her do something special with the cupcakes. We're on the fence of maybe doing decorate your own like spooky cookies.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And one time, a couple years back, we did spooky pies, but unfortunately they did not sell too well.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, all the other pies sell well, so we don't have to worry about it.
Well, Thanksgiving's right around the corner.
It is.
And
I know,
everybody
I know.
wants a pie for Thanksgiving.
I
right?
know.
Yes, that's our busiest time of the year.
I would think. Thanksgiving is probably the biggest pie season.
It
maybe
really
Christmas,
is.
but I associate Thanksgiving more with a pie than Christmas.
Yeah, and
I think so too.
How long does your shipping take? So if somebody places an order, you said you can ship it anywhere?
Anywhere in the continental U.S. We can ship to Alaska and Hawaii, but that gets really expensive.
Yeah.
But if you want it there, we'll make it happen.
A 6-pound pie, 6-pound all the way to Alaska.
I just sent one
expensive.
in July, so.
Yes.
But no, we typically do 2-day shipments.
Okay, fantastic.
Anything more than that, there's too much risk of the pie going bad.
Gotcha.
Because we don't put any preservatives or anything unnatural in the pies.
I know.
Or we try our best not to. Some things you just can't help.
Yeah. But now you have gluten-free ones, so I can eat those now,
Yes,
too.
and we have lower sugar as well. So we're excited about
And we
that.
have gluten-free cakes. Don't forget.
Oh, wow. Yes. Well, if anybody needs to get a good pie, good cake, good empanadas, good anything, just come out and check out Tootie Pie. And before we go, our favorite thing to ask anybody that joins our show is, what is your favorite thing about Boerne?
My favorite thing about Boerne is the community.
Yep.
Although it's growing and it's getting big really fast, we still have this small niche group of Boerneites who just love and support each other, which is wonderful, and that's why I will never leave Boerne.
Yeah, that's why we couldn't leave. We love our community just too much.
Well, we're so glad to have you guys here. If you haven't checked out the pies, go down, get Tootie Pie, enjoy your day, enjoy your dessert, and we will see you guys later. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
too.
for coming in.
Thanks for coming out. All right, bye.
Real estate doesn't have to be stressful, folks. We can help you decide whether it's the right time to sell with a free market analysis on your existing home, or if you're looking to buy, we can talk with you about what the options are available to maximize your investment.
So that's it. Give us a call at 210-827-3733 or go to our website at solidrealtygroup.com. And thanks, y'all. We'll chat again next week.